Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about the times, zeitgeist or something like that. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, why is it that everybody says that it's an amazing time to be a software developer? And the short answer is because you are in such enormous demand that you can basically work wherever the hell you want if you know what you're doing. That's why. That's literally why. You can switch job, it's insane. To put this in perspective, guys, have you ever had I will just go out on a limb here and I will say that most people will probably never be able to relate to that you spend more time turning down job offers and requests to go for interviews and opportunities than you spend saying yes. Then you spend looking for a job even. I don't know a single developer within my social sphere that has an issue finding a job. The only time they actually look for a job is if they're looking for something different or something like if they just want a job, they can simply reply to one of the in my case it's several hundred messages from different recruiters and companies who are looking for developers and so forth. The demand it's way beyond what I think that most people realize. It is to the point where it's normal these days, and I'm not kidding you. It's normal these days that there is almost no company loyalty for the engineers. The average time a developer moves from a company is 2 years to 4 years, roughly. Now think about that. 2 years. You switch jobs every 2 years, and that's when you're actually committed to the company. That's the average. It's insane. If you ask your grandparents how long they used to stay, it used to be the case that you stayed at the same company for many years. In software development, that's simply not the case. And the reason why that turnover, the company churn or whatever you call it, is so high is because one, the demand is so high that a developer can basically quit on the same day and have several interviews lined up within a week. And the second part is that everybody needs them. So they actually, I'm saying that they need them so bad that they're actually usually willing to increase your salary just to get you, because there's no other way to get developers. You have to offer them something, because I think the statistics that, this Stack Overflow report, last as I remembered, had the unemployment rate of developers globally at 1.5% roughly. Think about that number. There's 1.5% at this moment of all the developers in the entire developer pool, well, according to the statistics, of course, that are actually actively looking for a job. Everybody else has a job. Pretty much. How are you going to deal with that? And today there's a deficit of several million, if we're talking globally, several million developers, and the demand is just increasing. The more stuff that we invent, the more tooling and so forth, the more people we're going to need. And it just keeps on going. There's no way for us to bridge this gap. So that's the main reason why quite a lot of people argue that this is a goal. It's basically, you are human gold. I'm not gonna lie. If you are a software developer, and I'm raising my finger here and I'm saying, if you know what you're doing, it's not like you go and learn a little bit of CSS or a little bit of HTML and then you're going to make I don't know how much money some people expect to make. That's not the case. Just because you know how to code doesn't mean that you're making tons and tons of more money. It depends on how you manage your career, but you have job security if you know what you're actually doing, and you can actually make quite a lot of money if you are the sort of person who actually you know your own value, you're secure in your skills, and you're a little bit of an ambitious type of character. Because as I said, usually you can switch jobs every 2 years without that even being odd. You can switch more than that, of course, it's just that that's the average. And usually when you switch jobs, it's actually going to end up with you earning more money, because that's how desperate people are for programmers. Another perspective on this is, of course, also that there's much better tooling these days. It's never been easier. I'm not saying that it's easy to be a software developer, but it's never been easier to become a software developer. It used to be the case that you needed quite a hefty education and a very specific employment option in order to even be able to work on a computer. It was not something that was all that accessible to all that many people, but the tooling has developed and there are better abstractions and learning resources thanks to the goddamn internet. I would have hated to be one of those poor people who had to, learn how to do advanced software development without the internet. That would have been a rough time. For sure, that would have been a rough time. But these days you have access to so many learning resources and such a large community of other developers that can help you learn the ropes or answer your question, give tutorials, all this sort of stuff. If you can just deal with the complexity and the frustration of learning how all of this works, once you get it, and remember, the opportunity to learn it has never been better, you are pretty much set from that point on. It's going to take some severe negligence on your part for you to fall out of, to lose your market value within the industry. So what I want you to take away from this is that, at least from my perspective, the main reason why people say that this is an amazing time to be a software developer is, number one, it's never been easier. There are so many learning resources. You can learn coding on the internet today. As long as you own a computer, you can get started with your education pretty much. And there are so many tools, there are so many helpful tutorials and people out there who are helping us learn how to write better code, right? And the second thing is that the demand has never been higher. It's enormous, to the point where you can pretty much pick wherever you want to work. Almost everybody is looking, and as long as you are a fairly sociable person and you have the right skills, they will most likely hire you. And I'm talking almost every company, and they will usually offer you a pay rise just for you to go to that company, simply because the unemployment rate is 1.5%. So it's like there's nobody. The only way to get new programmers is literally to snipe them from other companies, usually, or if you were going to hire people that are fresh out of school. So it's a pretty good time to be selling your coding skills. That's for damn sure. Have a great day.